What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pick Six Nation. This is going to be episode number 130. My guest for this episode is Evan Dent. Evan, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
You're welcome. Thank you. I can't wait to get into some great topics today. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about. We have Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Chiefsaholic, Ezekiel Elliott, DeAndre Hopkins, Commander Sale, Spanos, annual league meetings, Anthony Richardson's pro day, Matthew Stafford free agency, and Damar Hamlin. All right, let's get into Lamar Jackson. I mean, it was announced. I mean, Lamar Jackson had tweeted that he had requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens on March 2nd. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of see the risks that you're taking when you don't have an agent. The fact that this trade request was kept under wraps for so long is something that an agent would make sure the media knows. So I think it definitely shows a deterioration in the relationship between Jackson and the Ravens. And it gets harder and harder to see him coming back there just with the way that they've kind of reached this impasse. So definitely a wrench in the sort of way this is progressing. And now it doesn't seem like things are going to change until maybe after the draft. So it's definitely taking longer than expected. And I think the nature of the relationship between the Ravens and Lamar is way more strained than I think we could have guessed. So, yeah, just another sort of twist in this very long saga.
Yeah, I do think he is fine. I think he's good without an agent, though. I think he'll be good. I mean, John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach. He thinks that Lamar will be QB, will be the Ravens quarterback for next season. I mean, hopefully Lamar gets a massive deal done with the Ravens as soon as possible. I mean, hopefully he gets paid as soon as possible. And we also have the tweet. Let's go get the tweets on Twitter. Where are they? Hang on. It's a letter. It says, one of the tweets says, "A letter to my fans. I want to first thank you all for all of the love and support you consistently show towards me. All of you are amazing, and I appreciate you all so much. I want you all to know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions." And then there's a tweet replying to that tweet, and it says, "In regards to my future plans. As of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens has not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help the team." And then there's another tweet, and it it's a continuation of the letter, and it starts off with, "Win the Super Bowl. You all are great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to my fans of Baltimore Flock Nation and the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again." So, nice letter by Lamar Jackson. Also, I want to pull up the tweet by Deion Sanders. I think it was a really nice tweet by him. Really nice tweet by Deion Sanders on Lamar Jackson. I'm going to pull that up right now. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Hang on 1 second. He quote tweets Lamar Jackson had tweeted, "I don't remember me sitting out on my guys week 1 versus Jets to week 12 versus Broncos. How come all of a sudden I sit out because of money in which I could have got hurt at any time within that time frame?" Forgetting the emoji there. And then you also have "when we know the Super Bowl been on my mind since April 2018." And then Deion Sanders quote tweets that and says, "Stop explaining yourself to fools and allow fools to be fools." A brother trying that's strong, believes in himself and willing to stand for what he believes, will always be misunderstood and judged by fools of all ethnicities. Love you, my brother, and I believe you. I believe you. I believe in you, in quotes, and then exclamation point, and then hashtag Coach Prime. He does a really nice quote tweet there. So nice to see that. I have to find that emoji, though, with the Lamar Jackson tweet that Deion Sanders quote tweeted.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think if another team comes calling and isn't going to offer him the sort of guaranteed money that he's looking for from the Ravens, that he might take that deal just because it's not the Ravens, So,
it's the thinking face emoji with the Lamar Jackson tweet. That was the thinking face emoji.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so nice to see that. Nice tweet by Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I mean, you also how do I say this? Asante Samuel had warned Lamar Jackson of playing for Coach Belichick. I mean, you also had.
I mean, where would you want to see Lamar go if not the Ravens?
The Colts should definitely make a great push for him for sure. They absolutely should.
I don't know why the Falcons aren't trying, but
yeah,
I think that'd be great. The Lions too. I mean, I know they love Goff, but
yeah, for sure. Meek Mill had also told Robert Kraft that Lamar Jackson had wanted to play for the Patriots. And Meek Mill and Robert Kraft are really great friends too. So, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with Lamar Jackson. Hopefully he gets a massive deal done. Hopefully he does.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got that on Lamar Jackson. Anything else you want to touch on there?
No.
All right. Let's wait. Actually, let's go to Asante Samuel's tweet.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. Hang on. Let me go find the tweet. I got to go find that tweet. Asante Samuel said on Twitter, Lamar Jackson, my brother. Lamar Jackson, my brother. Trust me, you don't want to play for Belichick. Oh man. So again, hopefully this situation works out. I mean, hopefully that worked. Lamar. Like I said earlier, hopefully he gets massive deal like he deserves as soon as possible. So, yeah, I think we got that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now let's go to Aaron Rodgers. This is a very interesting situation as well. How do I say this? Jets not. Hang on. How do I phrase this? Because Mike Florio went on the Pat McAfee show too. I'm trying to let me how do I mean the 13th overall pick. Come on. All right. Okay. The Packers don't want the 13th overall pick. We have an article, and it's we have an article on Heavy, and it's called "Packers have lowered Aaron Rodgers' asking price in Jets trade talks." And it says in the article, Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show on Wednesday, March 29th, to provide a massive update on the New York Jets' pursuit of a new QB1. And it says in the article, the holdup had been Pat. The Packers were adamant on getting the number 13 overall pick in this year's draft. I think they backed away from that. The key this week was when Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the Packers, said we aren't necessarily going to get a first-round pick. That to me was a major concession, acknowledging that they're no longer demanding the number 13th overall pick in 2023. So very interesting update there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it's in the Jets' interest to get it done sooner rather than later, but I can see why they're going to let the natural deadline of the draft come up and try and strengthen their team with that pick, 13th overall, and then trade for Aaron Rodgers, because the Packers don't really have anyone else they can trade him to. I mean, this is another thing, like the Lamar thing, I think is going to stretch out a while, because it's then going to become in the Packers' interest to hold on for as long as possible, because the Jets need to get him into training camp, they need to get him into OTAs, they need to get him into the building. They can't wait that long. So the Packers have probably just given up on getting anything from this year in the draft, and then they're going to hold the leverage after that and just saying, you need to get Aaron Rodgers into the building, and we hold the keys on that. And I think they can hold on to that for a while. So it did feel maybe a week ago like it was going to happen very soon, and now it feels like it might happen in August or end of July, something like that. So definitely a protracted affair, as a lot of things with Aaron Rodgers seem to be. So it'll be interesting to see what the final compensation comes out to, if it involves a 24 first round pick, a 25 one, what exactly his trade value is, given that he only really wants to play for one team.
Right. I mean, he didn't. To me, he intends to play for the Jets. I mean, we know that. I mean, we'll just have to see what happens. Yeah, I think we got it on that. Anything else you want to touch on there?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Let's go to Brett Favre. This is a really sad situation. What he did, this is so messed up beyond belief. And we have an update on this situation. And there's an article we have an article by Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk, and it says Pat McAfee removes Brett Favre defamation case to federal court. It says in the article, during Super Bowl week, news emerged that Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre had sued broadcasters and former NFL players, in parentheses, Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharpe, and Mississippi auditor Shad White. Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharpe and Mississippi auditor Shad White for defamation in connection with the ongoing Mississippi welfare fraud scandal. It appears that Favre sued each of them separately. The case against McAfee was filed in Lamar County, Mississippi. Via sports and betting lawyer Daniel Wallach, Pat McAfee removed the case from state court to federal court on Friday. It was the only play by McAfee, given that Favre is a Mississippi native who lives in Lamar County. Home cooking exists in state courts when it comes to defendants who don't live in that state. For that reason, federal law allows cases filed in state court against out-of-state defendants to be removed to federal court. And then this is in parentheses. If the plaintiff is seeking more than $75,000, that's in parentheses, where the judges are appointed for life and not part of the political scene. So very interesting to see what happens there. Again, it's just a really sad situation. Brett Favre is so messed up for doing what he did. We also have a tweet from Pat McAfee, and it reads, "Hello, beautiful people, ... As of a few moments ago, I have filed for the dismissal of Brett Favre's defamation lawsuit against me in a federal court in the fine state of Mississippi. I very much understand stuff that next to nobody on earth wants to hear more about this type of stuff. Wait, I very much understand that next to nobody on earth wants to hear more about this type of stuff, ... So I apologize for contributing more negativity and well, it says BS. I mean, I could say BS. It says the BS word. Into a world seemingly filled with too much of them both to begin with. From the very beginning, I thought the lawsuit against me was a joke, a fugazi, a rib, ... Today makes it all feel like there has been a true glitch in the simulation. When you read the publicly available findings in the lawsuit against Favre, all of the articles from every news source that has basically ever existed, that part's in parentheses, evidence and damning facts of the very sad welfare fraud scandal of Mississippi, and then new things are still being presented and revealed weekly. That's in parentheses. Defamation, quote, lawsuit from a public figure in sports who is in the middle of it all against a comedic sports show seems a bit bananas, ... That's because it is ... And then bananas B dash A dash NA dash NA dash S. As I've had to learn more about all of this ... and experience it from this angle, I've come to realize that historically, this will go down as a rather notable attack on the First Amendment and on comedic relief as a whole in our society. I have faith that the federal judge assigned to this case will see this for what it was, an attempt by a public figure to silence folks from talking about their alleged horrendous transgressions. That's not how America works, ... or supposed to work, at least. A team of lawyers that I've had to hire for this entire process. It says Shadat, K&L Gates, more specifically Plum High School, 05, graduate Sarah Decker. That's the part's in parentheses. And I are confident in a dismissal, but if we are very ready and prepared for the next steps in court, regardless of what happens legally, I like to showcase what our show is actually about and extend an invite to Mr. Brett Lorenzo Favre, Brett, match me with a donation to a Big Brothers Big Sisters Foundation in Mississippi. Let's help out the next generation of Mississippians together. Let's give some credit. Let's give some support to the citizens of your state who might need it a little bit. And let's make something positive out of this sad clown show of a defamation suit with no merit. I appreciate everybody's support through all of this. It has been a bit stressful for me, my pregnant wife, my employees, and their families. We are all eager for this chapter to be done with. Cheers to everybody. And let's remember to take care of each other, and not allegedly reportedly steal from those who need it most, And then page 1 of the official filing picture below, full 25-page memorandum in support is publicly available on the Southern Mississippi District Federal Docket. That part's in parentheses, and then there's a GIF there as well. So this is a very very sad situation. Brett Favre is he's making a clown out of himself in this entire situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's advising him or who his lawyers are, but it seems like the opposite thing you'd want to do. Probably want to lay low and just, let the trial play out and try and get past that. But he's drawn more attention to himself, and I think probably more negative attention to himself. So hopefully those people who were promised the money get that money, and he can move on and do better with his life.
Yeah, for sure. I think we got that there. Evan, you want to touch on anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Now let's go to Chiefsaholic. This is, wow, crazy situation. He's on the loose. It's a $1 million bond. He skipped bail. I mean, it's just a really sad situation. I mean, Xavier Michael Babadar. I mean, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a kind of fun thing the first thing you heard about it, and then more reporting has kind of revealed that the guy didn't really have a home. He was struggling and had made this persona for himself, but was dealing with a lot of issues. So it is pretty nuts that he escaped. He slipped the band and he's out. Hopefully he gets the help he needs,
I mean, hopefully they get him. Hopefully he's gotten. That's the big thing. Hopefully he's gotten, and hopefully justice is brought in this situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, I think we got that on Chiefsaholic.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, he wanted to play for the Eagles and whatnot, and hopefully he can find a team as soon as possible. I mean, Evan?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny that his last play for the Cowboys was that weird trick play where he got immediately bowled over by a defensive lineman. Obviously, he wasn't worth the contract that he had before, but I still think he's an effective runner between the tackles. So I'll be interested to see where he ends up. Obviously a team like the Eagles would be a perfect fit just with the line they have, but they got in Rashad Penny. So I don't imagine he's going to have a huge market, but I think he will find a place. And I think he'll be an effective, short yardage guy and sort of between the tackles because he's still effective in those regions. It's just kind of the outside runs where he had lost a bit of his step. So,
yeah. I mean, there's also Stephen Jones. I talked about the real reason why they released him. I'm gonna pull that up now. Which is kind of odd. And there's an article, and it's on blogging the boys, and it's titled Cowboys say they released Ezekiel Elliott to avoid insulting him. And also the article's by Jess Haney. Stephen Jones. And it says in the article, the Dallas Cowboys know that some fans aren't happy about the departure of running back Ezekiel Elliott. They also know that time will heal the wound, but that hasn't held the front office back from expressing their continued affection for Zeke even after his departure. In fact, Stephen Jones said yesterday that Elliott's release came partly because the Cowboys didn't want to insult him. So really, really interesting. I mean, it's kind of weird in a way. And then you also have a tweet from RJ Ochoa in the article, and it says, Emmitt Smith commented on a Dallas Cowboys Instagram post that was acknowledging Ezekiel Elliott's career and was clearly upset about the decision to release him. And it's in quote. There's also the quote of the tweet. And it says, this is why the NFL stands for not the law. Everybody else go get your money because they have no love for you. End quote. And also it's a picture of Zeke holding up number 1 jersey from draft night when he got drafted. And then there's also it's an Instagram post from Emmitt Smith, and it says, wow, this is amazing to me. What is that dash? I'm trying to hang on one second. Is that long dash? No disrespect to Malik Davis. Our starting running back is gone, and his backup has a broken leg. Question mark. The NFL stands for not for long.
It's true. You can see him double down. And take,
also, wait, can I finish the tweet? Yeah. Everyone else, go get your money because they have no love for you. It don't make sense, and this is one of those things that make you I think he said shack your head. I think he meant to say shake your head. Thank you, Z, for giving everything you have, including plan injured. I think he meant to say playing injured. All of last year. This is why the NFL stands for not the law. Everyone else, go get your money because they have no love for you. So, very interesting regarding the situation of Ezekiel Elliott. Hopefully, he finds a team as soon as possible. I think he's a really great running back. Hopefully, he finds a team as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got that there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, now let's go to DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, this is a very interesting situation in and of itself. The Cardinals, I mean, they had wanted a Christian McCaffrey-like package for him. So very interesting to see where he ends up. I mean, hopefully he ends up with the team as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why the Cardinals would be going into this season with Kyler Murray injured, and obviously they have to negotiate, but I don't think it's in their best interest to keep Hopkins this year, or really beyond. I think this is probably the best you're going to get for him. So there's got to be some sort of middle ground between what they want and what teams are offering. But I think he definitely has, would be a great receiver on another team. So they're going to have to come down a little bit and just figure out what they can live with for getting rid of the guy. I know they gave up a first round pick for him however many years ago, a second round pick. But anyway, great player. I really hope to see him in a fun place this year, just because I don't think Arizona is going to be all that good. So I think something's got to give before the season starts.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Where would you imagine. I want to see him on the Bills, obviously, but
that would be nice. I mean, he did. He had posted the lyrics to Buffalo Soldier.
Yeah,
I don't know if that. I mean, that was some of the lyrics to Buffalo Soldier on his Instagram. So that was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, the Patriots. I mean, any of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, if DeAndre Hopkins ends up with the Bills, I mean, that'd be very nice.
Yeah.
So very interesting there. Hopefully he ends up with the team as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Get him out of there.
Yeah. All right. Now let's go to the Commanders sale. Lot going on there. So very interesting. Magic Johnson is a part of the bid. Josh Harris is a part of the bid. There's that the Canadian billionaire who's also part of the bid. So I mean, Mike McDaniel couldn't get free coffee. So very interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a lot of people are even preemptively excited just to get rid of Dan Snyder. He, I think, is a net negative as an NFL owner, and I think the way that franchise has declined since he took over is pretty stunning when you think about how successful they were, especially in the 90s and the 80s, and how popular they were across the country. And now they're sometimes embarrassing, but just not a great franchise. So
yeah, it's a Steve Apostolopoulos. That's his name too.
Yeah, and I mean they're going to pay $6 billion or whatever, and Dan Snyder will have a nice golden parachute out of there, and then hopefully we can see that team be prominent again. I think it's more fun in the NFC East when all those teams are good. So, and that could be another team. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, I think would make a lot of sense, and that could be something that a new owner would want to make a splash with, kind of like what you saw last year with the Broncos and their new owners with Russell Wilson. Yeah. So, that could be another thing where once the team is sold, you might see some action on Lamar Jackson, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, also RG3, he could possibly do how do I he's thought of possible ownership as well. We have an article by Cody Benjamin, and it's on Microsoft Start, and it's called Robert Griffin III teases ownership stake in Commanders, says fans will throw a parade if Dan Snyder sells. And it says in the article, Robert Griffin III is one of the most polarizing players in Washington's recent NFL history. His short-lived career as the team's franchise quarterback is a story of what could have been. And Griffin himself has not shied away from laying blame on the organization that drafted him. Now, however, with Commanders owner Daniel Snyder on the verge of selling the franchise, Griffin is teasing a future ownership stake in the operation, forecasting a welcome return to Washington. And it also says in the article, I've been having some really great conversations with this proposed ownership group, the proposed ownership that is in parentheses, and then group led by Josh Harris. Griffin told the Rich Eisen show this week, and having an opportunity to come in on that ownership group, I'm like head over heels excited about that process, to be a player for that team, to not have my career go the way I wanted it to, or the fans wanted it wanted it to in that city would be a full circle type of moment to come back and try to help that team and that organization build the winner that the fans deserve. Griffin added, he's one of countless people anticipating the team's change in ownership, especially after years of Snyder and the Commanders franchise falling under investigation of the NFL for alleged workplace misconduct. And it also says, at the end of the day, the fans, ... they will throw a parade when Dan Snyder sells the team, Griffin said. Oh, wait. Led by Josh Harris, Griffin told the Rich Eisen show this week. Okay, I got that. Good. So very interesting. Hopefully the Dan Snyder era is done as soon as possible.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
A month or two more, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we got that there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I think also one of Dan Snyder's people, I think, recorded Jim Irsay too. I want to double check that. Wait, hang on. Yeah, he did. Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we're good.
Okay.
Do you think, do you think we should just go on anyway?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now let's go to DeSpanos. So this is another interesting situation. Where's it's Barbarian. What's the thing in question? Could possibly sell the stake of the Chargers. Evan, give me some time.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. Come on. She had been looking to sell some of this the stake of looking to sell her portion of the team.
Yeah, it seems like one of the few teams that's still family owned, and they don't really have much going on beyond owning the team. So seemed like there was disagreement within the family, and she's getting out. So good for her.
Yeah. Good for her. Hopefully this situation goes well.
Yeah, probably a lot of money. So
yeah,
24%. It's got to be close to $1 billion.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think we got that there. Evan, anything else you want to touch on?
No, it's good to be an NFL owner.
Yeah.
Work if you can get it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Now let's go to annual league meetings. You have players changing their number to 0, which is awesome. Calvin Ridley. You got Calvin Ridley, Micah Parsons. So nice to see. It's finally allowed. They can change their numbers to 0, which is great. Really nice to see that. I mean, you had the great photos of the GMs, the coaches. So nice to see that as well. So yeah, it was in Phoenix at it's the Arizona. I think get the name of it. Arizona Biltmore. It's the Biltmore. Yeah.
Nice
what are your thoughts on the league proposal? I think it's good so far. I don't think anything bad.
Which proposal?
What do you think of just the whole like league meeting proposals in general?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I love the number 0. I hope. I wish some of the bigger guys would be able to wear it, like a defensive tackle wearing 0 would be cool.
T. Higgins is going to wear number 5 too.
Ooh, all right. I was interested to see what would happen with sort of the quarterback push that the Eagles were doing, and it looks like it's staying in the league. So all the complaining kind of came to nothing. I understand why they didn't change the rules about roughing the passer and being able to review it because of how disastrously the pass interference review process was. So it's a subjective call that's going to make people upset, probably 75%. But I think opening up the box and making it reviewable is just going to make it worse, like we saw with pass interference. So I can understand why they did that. So yeah, it seems like pretty much the status quo, and I don't think anything really groundbreaking happened rules-wise. So probably nice for all of them to get together.
Yeah, it is nice for them to all get together as well. That is really nice. I mean, have some great rule changes, and I can't wait for the new rule changes to be implemented. And we also have an article by, I think it's Lindsay Pilares, and it says rule changes, bylaws, and resolutions approved at an annual league meeting. It's on the 49ers.com. And in the bylaws summary, it says by competition committee, I think that's semicolon, to change the claiming period to Monday for players who are waived on the Friday and Saturday of the last week of the regular season. Also, it also says by competition committee, semicolon, to adjust the rules for postseason signings to account for standard elevations rule, semicolon, to freeze postseason rosters at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Wednesday following the last week of the regular season. And we also have resolutions. This is in the resolution summary. It says by Buffalo, semicolon, to make the regular season and postseason roster transaction deadlines the same, semicolon, changes the transaction deadline for Saturday night postseason games to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday. So very interesting. See, nice to see.
They changed the Thursday night thing too, right?
Yeah, because they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't. Wait.
Is it? Can you flex it yet? I know that I think they said you can do 2 a year.
There was a Thursday night proposal flex.
But you can do 2 a year, right? Instead of 1.
Yes.
Okay.
2 a year.
I really don't like the Thursday night games except beginning of the year and Thanksgiving, but
I mean,
if they're gonna stay, I wish it was only one time a team.
To flex, I mean, the flex Thursday night games, I mean, that wouldn't make sense though.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to claim that it would have however many weeks in advance notice, but
no, they didn't do that.
I think it's, I don't know. John Mara was saying, like, the fans, if you buy tickets for a game and then it gets moved to Thursday, you can't always make that, especially with so many people travel into town.
Right.
I mean, so
you got to talk about player safety too. I mean, and then like don't flex the games. It's just like focus on player safety. NFL.
I mean, they can do things to make it easier. And, if you play a team on Thanksgiving, they could play on Thursday night the next week because then they're getting, still a week in between. It's just figuring out how to sort of stagger it so that no team, I think, has to play on that side of short rest. So
yeah, right.
they're going to
Oh,
claim that it doesn't make any difference. It's what the NFL is saying, but I really think, as much as possible, I think a Thursday team should be coming off a bye or have a full week's rest beforehand. So they're probably not going to figure out how to do that, but you wish they would.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I see what you're saying there. So nice to see that. I mean, hopefully we have a great season next season, and hopefully there's no crazy rule changes. So I think we got that there.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to Anthony Richardson's pro day. He had an unbelievable pro day. I mean, he hits the roof and he does a really nice backflip too. I mean, unbelievable from Anthony Richardson.
I think the heat, or I guess the hype, has kind of cooled down since a couple months ago. It seemed like he might go first overall, and now it kind of seems like he's fallen back behind Stroud and Young. But nothing's changed about how athletically talented he is, and he was really able to show that off at his pro day. So I'm really interested to see where he goes. I think a team like the Lions or Seahawks taking a chance with one of their 2 first-round picks would be awesome, just because they have such a good system set up already, and they could, let him sit for a year, let him develop, and then put him into a good situation. Teams like the Colts and maybe some other teams, I'd be more concerned about him starting right away. But, some team's going to take a chance, and I think
exactly.
They might get a gem,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I best of luck to Anthony Richardson. I mean, he's gonna be unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Best of luck to him for sure. Yeah, I think we got that there. Anything else you want to touch on there?
No, I mean, just waiting for draft day.
Yeah. All right, now let's go to Matthew Stafford. He's due $30 million. He's due $30 million. So very interesting there. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of incredible to see how quickly the Rams have just decided to just sort of blow it up, and they're playing a weird sort of balancing game with making sure Sean McVay doesn't retire because he doesn't want to be in a rebuild, but also setting themselves up so that they're not, totally toasted for the next 5 years. So I can't see them being competitive this year unless that offense gets back to another level that we haven't seen there in a while. But I don't know, they went all in, they won the Super Bowl, and this is sort of what you deal with after. So I don't imagine he's going to be moving anywhere, but seems like that marriage will be short. Obviously successful because they won that Super Bowl, but I think we're seeing the full effect of the all-in kind of thing that people were.
Yeah, I think we're seeing it too. Year. I mean, the Lions are thriving. I mean, right now, you have that trade, the Goff Stafford trade.
Right.
It's a really interesting spot. Really, that was a really interesting trade, and yeah, a really interesting trade. And I mean, hopefully it can go well for the Rams. Evan?
Yeah, just interested to see how they maneuver from here.
All right, cool. I think we got it. All right, now let's go to free agency. We have Calais Campbell going to the Falcons. I like that. It's a really nice move by the Falcons to get Calais Campbell. We have an article, and it's called NFL: Falcons announced 1-year deal with defensive end Calais Campbell. And it says in the article, the Atlanta Falcons announced a 1-year deal with free agent defensive end Calais Campbell on Friday. Terms were not disclosed, but NFL Network reported the contract includes a fully guaranteed $7 million base salary and up to $2 million more in incentives. So, I mean, what an unbelievable career Calais Campbell has had. I mean, he was huge in the Jaguars' run to the AFC Championship game against run to the AFC Championship game. He was phenomenal there. So, best of luck to Calais Campbell on the Falcons. Darrington Evans is now a Colt too. So that's a really nice move by the Colts to get him. So very interesting there. What are your thoughts on free agency so far?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the time of the year where teams make small deals that don't get as much attention as the first couple of days of free agency. But, these are the kind of simple veteran moves that help you win football games. So, it's fair to ask how much Calais Campbell has left in the tank, but Atlanta's pretty desperate for any edge help. They've been desperate for years. So, he had 5.5 sacks last year. He can still be good in a certain role. So I think it's a good move for them. And I really like the way they've shaped their roster over the offseason. Obviously, quarterback's still a question mark, but I think this is the kind of time of the year where stuff happens under the radar that makes a difference throughout the season. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree with you more on that. I mean, like you said, we've had a great free agency so far, and I can't wait for it to only get better. I think it's only going to get better. So nice to see that. So I think we got that there. Evan, anything else you want to touch on?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Now let's go to Damar Hamlin. He met with President Biden, and he plans to play football again. I mean, just what a remarkable recovery Damar Hamlin has had. I mean, that was so tragic that he had that cardiac arrest. I mean, really tragic stuff. I'm glad he's doing better. Hopefully, he can get back on the field as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been inspiring to see how active he's become in his recovery and sort of as an advocate for AED and CPR training and just sort of spreading his message and positivity around. I'm sure he never imagined meeting the president unless they won a Super Bowl. So it's really cool for him to sort of have these experiences and the way that he's going. Yeah, I believe he can come back if he wants to and if it's safe, so
absolutely
pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have an article, and it's by Charlotte Edmonds, and it's on NBC5 Chicago, and it's called Damar Hamlin Meets with President Biden, Says He Plans to Return to Football. And it says in the article, just this past week, head coach Sean McDermott weighed in on Hamlin's future while speaking at the NFL's annual meetings in Phoenix. We're hopeful that he plays, but at the end of the day, that's a decision that he's going to make. But we support him whether he decides to play or not, McDermott said. The White House statement also said the Biden took a moment to recognize the Hamlin's efforts to bring people together and make life-saving technologies more widely available. That's in quotes. And then it says these efforts include meeting with lawmakers to advocate for access to AEDs Act, a bipartisan bill introduced to the U.S. House last week. It would establish a grant program to fund the purchase of automated external defibrillators, AEDs in parentheses, strengthen CPR training, and develop cardiac emergency response plans in schools. So awesome. It's great that Damar Hamlin is doing better. Hopefully he can continue to recover well. And we wish him the best.
Absolutely.
I think we got that there. Evan, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you, and you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. And Evan, have a good one. Bye.
You too.
Thank you. Bye. See ya.